بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So last night we spoke about anger management and the Prophet, and we mentioned how what sets us apart from animals is that we shouldn't act upon our impulses and upon our urges. We need to be able to manage ourselves. If you can't manage yourself, if you can't practice self-restraint, how do you think you would be able to manage others? Sometimes you talk to your brother or talk to your sister and try to influence them, try to impact their decision, but you can't. You talk to your parents and they don't listen to you. Why? If you can't manage yourself, how would you expect to manage others? This is why the Prophet says that your battlefield is yourself. If you can become victorious in that war against yourself, then you can become victorious over any enemy in the outside world. You can manage other people. But tonight, my speech will be very short. It will be less than 5 minutes, hopefully. Just 5 minutes. All I need is your attention for 5 minutes. I want to speak about the Prophet's lack of interest in this world. But let me give you a small introduction. This world we're living in is temporary. This life is a transient life. Everything in this world will come to an end. All the pleasures, all the pains, and everything in it, absolutely everything, will come to an end. This is why a wise person wouldn't invest his time and his energy and his resources in something that will not last. A lot of people work for this life. They buy a big house, they drive a good car. All they do is plan for this life. But after they die, they become poor because they did not build their future. All they were thinking about is this life, and this life came to an end. This is why one of the most important conditions that God imposes on all of His prophets and messengers and apostles is to be detached from this world. Is to have lack of interest in this life. When you have lack of interest in this life, the ups and downs of life will not affect you. Today you have an iPad, tomorrow you lose it. You won't become sad because you know that everything in this world will one day expire and come to an end. Why? If you're too attached to this world, if you're too attached to your house, to your possessions, to your car, to your iPad, to your phone, what will happen when you lose it? What will happen when you lose it? You'll be super sad because you're super attached to it. This is why some people, when they leave this world, when they die, death to them is a painful experience. Why? Because they're so attached to this world, and all of a sudden they have to leave everything behind. All the millionaires, all the billionaires, all the presidents. You know who the founder of Apple is? The founder of Apple is a man by the name of Steve Jobs. He was a multi-billionaire. He had tens of billions of dollars, more money than he can count. Yet he died. His life was cut short when he was in his 50s. So he wasn't that old, but his life came to an abrupt end, a sudden end. And you know what happened to his fortune? You know what happened to his wealth? You know what happened to his fancy yacht that he was building? You know what happened to all his properties and everything that he possessed? He had to leave it behind and go. Because you can't take your wealth with you. You can't take your money with you. You can't take your yachts, your cars, your house with you. You have to leave everything behind. The only thing that you can take with you are your good and bad deeds. These two things will come with you on the day of judgment, will be with you in the grave. This is why God says to all His prophets that one of the conditions that you need to fulfill before you can carry out this task, the task of prophethood, the task of delivering the message of God, is to be detached from this world. Absolute detachment from this world. This is why one day the prophet was sitting down when Archangel Gabriel, he's the chief angel, he's in charge of all the colossal tasks. He was created by God and assigned to carry out the big tasks. He was the medium between God and our prophet. He comes down, he says, Ya Muhammad, the prophet says, whenever you hear my name, make sure you send your salutations on me. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Archangel comes down and he says, Ya Rasulullah, I came with a message from God. You need to listen to it. So the prophet said, what's the message? He said, God is telling you, O prophet, if you wish, I can turn this valley, a huge valley surrounded by mountains. I can turn this valley into solid gold. And you know how good gold looks? A lot of people, they salivate when they see gold. Imagine seeing gold bricks. Now, what the angels is proposing is to turn the valley into solid gold. You'll be the richest man that walks on this planet. And guess what? This will not lessen your status in the eyes of God. You know how some people, when they become rich, their faith will decrease. Their interest in religion will become less because they're too busy minding their business. But God is telling the prophet that we can turn this valley into solid gold, and this will not lessen, this will not decrease your level in the eyes of God. The prophet thought about it for a minute. What would you do if God tells you something like that? You would say, absolutely right. You're going to be the richest man. You can buy the fanciest car. You can buy the fanciest house. You can have a private jet. You could do whatever you want to do. But the prophet thought about it for a minute and he said, La, nay, no thank you. He said, why? He said, because I want to live like a poor person. I become hungry, so I ask God to give me food to feed me. And when I become satisfied, when I become full, I thank God. Because man la khaliqa lah, la jadida lah. You can only experience the pleasure of food when you become hungry. You can only experience the nice feeling when you buy new clothes if you can't afford buying new clothes every day. But if you want to experience the pleasures, then you have to go through hunger. You have to go through poverty. The prophet is saying that I want to maintain my relationship with God. Because if I become rich, I will feel that I've become self-sufficient and I'm not in need of God anymore. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says that the reason why the prophet said no thank you was because he knew that God the Almighty detests this world. He doesn't like this world. Otherwise, all the faithful ones would be rich, would prosper in this world. But why? All the good people, all the prophets, all the apostles, all the awliya, they have to suffer in this world. Because this world is not meant to be the utopia we all wish to create in our minds. So he knew that God detests this world. This is why he said, no, thank you. I don't want to lead a pleasurable life in this world, because I know this world will come to an end, and I wish to build my future, my eternal future. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us educate ourselves more about this great personality, to study about his life, to learn about him, and then to embrace him, to follow in his footsteps, and to apply his teachings. ببركة الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.